Dear guests, I'm so glad that we have finally time to chat. With all the events, especially before the pandemic, we perhaps didn't have enough time for that. Today we have invited a gentleman whom you all know, who lives in the beautiful Menslage and maintains a horse paradise there in every respect. Above all, also in the dimension and size, who has made a name for himself of European importance, far over 600 stallions already licensed, 670 in his career so far, an unbelievable number of champion stallions, just successfully returned from the stallion days of Munich. We are of course talking about Heinrich Ramsbrock, who has a very special connection to the family here in Lemwerder. Not only the personal acquaintance, but actually a way of living with the horses, which is quite similar to that of the Sosath family. It is a family business that you run in Menslage, Heinrich. What are the big similarities between these two families? Yeah, if you think about it, we both started small. We used to ride together in Vechta, and it all grew very slowly. Well, each wife has stood behind it, Gert's wife just like mine. Over the years, the interests have been the same. I've tried to raise stallions, Gert has needed them, has been successful in selling the semen. Yes, and so a friendship has grown over the years. Year after year, we are allowed to welcome you here at the events of Sosath Stadt. I myself got to know you at the big fall shows, at the open day, where you are a regular guest. And I remember very well a situation. I looked for you on the whole area. I found you back there in the wildlife enclosure, where a zoo had been set up, so to speak. Animals, is that the big fascination for you? That's the biggest thing for me personally. On the way here, I talked with Hermann that we have all kinds of ducks. We bought them for a lot of money, but then I realized that we couldn't keep the variety. But there are ducks, geese, chickens in every form, all varieties everywhere, and it brings unbelievable joy. It's relaxing to watch the animals at all. Looking at the horses all day, that's one thing, but to walk around in the evening and look at everything, that's real joy. Yet, can you relax particularly well with ducks? Is that what connects you? Is it some same family ties? Are you guys real friends? Yes, I guess we are. We actually used to ride together in the past. And what's really amazing is that we both come from the show jumping background. And in what a short time Heinrich has developed there with the company, the stallions, the dressage horses. We only started with the dressage horses later, but we are both an agricultural business, and I'm very interested in grassland and everything around it. And when I'm at your farm and see the pastures with all the horses, how well kept it all is, the whole grassland, the way it is built on the farm, the big well in front. And it's well kept with you, I really have to say. And what fascinates me enormously, when we were with you in Hahnenmoor, I was there once in May, I think, and I saw 40 mares with foals in the big hall, which is as big as an indoor riding arena. That thrilled me so much. The foals had their corner on the side, they could pass under the pipe, and so they could feed themselves. Heinrich likes to show off and told me that he can get any foal and can lift the legs anywhere, and I went there and saw he was right. He has such a great connection with the animals. You could get to any foal like that, you could pet them, and he's really a horseman. I remember, Heinrich, visiting you. I came unannounced and I was usually on my way. I was proudly shown around the facility by your staff. That was really remarkable. Unbelievably neat, as if you had expected a video team. Every horse was standing up to their belly in straw. Is that your company signature? Yeah, I think if you don't run it right from the heart, that you really pay attention to the little details every day, otherwise such a business doesn't work. If you let it slip, the horse care, for example, the bedding, that is done every morning with all the people who are employed on the farm. And it's done to the finest. And then the animals feel good and the people can also work better. What is the future of the family farm, also in the context of agriculture becoming more difficult? I think the family farm, which we both promote and operate, Gerd in a large form, with us it's a little smaller. I'm talking now about the next generation. Well, yes. And I'm of the opinion that as long as we personally can run it all work out, because we have a completely different view of the animals, how horses are raised, how they are broken in. And through this, I believe, over the 50 years that we have been running this with regular customers, and this is my kind of philosophy, that without your regular customers, you can't run such business at all. And trust is the name of the game. Yes, certainly a basic principle of both of your ventures. I myself have only once had the pleasure of buying a horse on your farm. Gerd has certainly had that experience several times. And he has a stallion in the stable right now, a very outstanding Vivaldi offspring. It's called Vivaldos, which we will of course also see in the context of this online stallion show. Tell us a little bit, Gerd, what was it like when you discovered him at the Ramsbrock stud? I've bought one from Heinrich several times, and Heinrich always has impressive prices, but of course he has also good horses. And so I thought, you are in the area and you go to Heinrich and have a look. Ramsbrocks are always very hospitable, also Dagmar, your wife, when I come there. And I was there around noon, and there's always a little something to eat. You're always very welcome there. And we talked about stallions, and Heinrich said, if you want to have something very special from a superb dam line, the mother herself is an absolute sensation. He was so enthusiastic about Doris Day. Then you have to take one of those. But then I first thought, Heinrich, wait and see, and then we thought, well, let's have a look at him. And we drove to the Hahn Moor, and we were very lucky that we were there during the lunch break. Otherwise, I've been there before, so everything is perfectly prepared. 5 of his grooms are standing in front of the stallion stables. They were painting, they were shining, bandaged, otherwise you don't see them at all. And that was during the lunch break, and there was only one of your farm workers whom you'd asked to present the stallion for us. And he came out like this, just with the bridle, quite naturally, as he was, and he was moving back and forth on the road. And I just came from Ermelo in Holland, because we had been to the World Championships with Davenport. And I had these movements in my head, like the good dressage horses move nowadays. And I saw him and I fell in love right away. And I thought, you won't leave after you have the stallion. And we drove back to our house, and I chatted a bit on the way. First you told me the story about the great mare Doris Day, your rider and your friend Hermann Burger. What have they all won feral championships? I think the horse has competed 11 times, from mare shows to competitions to the Bundeschampionats, and always has won. She never even came in second. Won state championship, national championship, mare shows, won all kinds of things. And you should always recognize the spirit of the times, which blood is in demand at the moment. There it was, the Vivaldi blood was just coming up, and then with the mother, with Desperados, the House of Spree. We are good friends with them. She was Olympic champion in the team and the German champion with them. With such a great horse, such a combination, and then Brentano in the dam line, exactly what could fit very well for a station. Is that, Heinrich, also the secret recipe at your success? Gerd has already said that Vivaldi was the center of attention back then, and even more so today. also through Vitalis, of course. But is it also the dams that have the basis of your success? I mean, 670 licensed stallions. You don't just do this with fashion stallions, but mainly, I think, with quality mares. Yeah, this is definitely correct. We have a large stock of mares, and it happens again and again that someone wants to buy a mare. And then I'm usually standing here with Hermann Burger in front of our notice board or blackboard, and we can't find one because we don't want to part with them. And that's very difficult for me because we have the mare lines already in the third and fourth generations. The dam lines are just vital.
Wenn dann unsere Niki mal dazu kommt, die sagt, ja, die könnte mal weg. Das vorletzte Fohlen war nicht ganz so gut, aber immer gut wird nicht gehen. Aber die Stämme sind einfach entscheidend.
I'm very curious about that now. I mean, Gerd will see this quite similarly, who, of course, also builds his breeding on performance mares. The lion's share of the stallions we see in the online stallion show are homebred by Sosath. Is it really noticeable that the horses have become better over the years? Sosath has been around for 375 years, not quite as long as horses have been successfully bred here, but almost. Have the horses, especially based on the mares as well, gotten better over the last 30 years? As far as I can tell, clearly better, clearly different. In the past, there also were great horses, but for today's conditions that are needed in modern sport, especially in show jumping, we have very refined, high-quality horses. And I can also say with us, our older mares, also the Lady Haida line, there are so many good horses now. And if I have a bit of an overview of what could fit, then the products are actually getting better and better. And I've already had that with my employees. We've taken 25 now 3-year-old mare out of the yard and let them run and jump. And then we always take videos right away so we can see what they're like, and we always take notes for that. And at so many mares, we have so many plus points. Or did we make a mistake? We rate them too highly if we compare them with the other years. And these are now the products that come from our very best mares. Also from the mares that compete internationally themselves, that we had in Aachen, such as Lady Lordana, Cadora, and the dam of Diamant de Plaisir. These are simply great performers. And in the field of dressage horses, we are not as strong with our own mares, but I think we have certain lines that are passed on excellently, and I think the breeding has developed tremendously forward. Yeah, you have to pay a lot of attention to what you are breeding. Character, the quality of movement, which is what we are talking about all today, finally rideability. And those who really pay attention to this will also be successful in breeding. But not only fashion stallions, that's all done quickly, but afterwards the riding and also the marketing, these are decisive factors. That's exactly what you're saying, character. We have one point in the evaluation, and that's the attitude, and that's the most important for me. If you get 25 out of here or even more, for all of them, the conditions are the same. And some of the horses, they have ears to the front and do it, and some of them just don't. And this attitude is so important, not only for the people, but also for the horses. What I think is a problem with our modern breeding is that the hardness is not as it used to be. When I think of the past, we didn't even know a veterinarian. The horses had short fetlocks, a firm tight back, decent joints, and all these problems we have today, some of them very highly bred, especially dressage horses with the spectacular movements, with the very long fetlocks, this front leg mechanics. They are all a bit unstable in the back, and they don't have so much strength in the tail and the body. And many of them are not as hard on the feet as they used to be. I think we have to pay more attention to that in breeding today. This is indeed the most important thing. The foundation, which is not longer considered today. So many foreign stallions are taken, simply looked at from the internet. The young people can sometimes not even pronounce the pedigrees. And all this is lost, the most important thing. that we have good foundations, that the horses are healthy. That is the most important thing in breeding.
In der Zucht das Allerwichtigste mit.
We have more and more breeders who would like to have a consultation, and we're very happy to do that. They also come to our home and they just have a look at the stallions on the pavement. There are also customers from Holland, from Belgium, who accept the somewhat longer way, and they come here and look. How does he move? How does he stand on his feet? The hooves in particular are so important that they are in good condition, and I think it's also good as a breeder that you think about it and not just go by the video, what you see on the internet, but also look at the product. I always buy by good feeling. Even if I buy your stallion, I have to see the horse. He must inspire me. And then I find him good, and then it will work out. Not just because I read something on the internet or just he won the Grand Prix on TV. Well, good feeling. Thank you very much.